Okay, at approximately 3:48 p.m. this afternoon, our units were notified that there was a disturbance inside the HEB here located at 10919 Louetta. And apparently it's what occurred is there was two adult males in there that were they were involved in a disturbance, a verbal disturbance that escalated, where one of them pulled out a gun and discharged his firearm towards the other male. Both of them fled the scene. There was nobody injured, and the shooter went to one of our substations and turned himself in, and we have him right now detained.
The call came in as an active shooter. How do you go from an active shooter call to this?
It was not an active shooter. It was a lot of people evacuating the store, which appeared, obviously chaotic, and rightfully so, but it was not an active shooter by no means. It was a disturbance that escalated.
We're told that someone was begging for money in an aisle, so the other person shot him. Can you talk about that?
We're not aware of that, but this is all preliminary. We're still looking into it and interviewing the shooter at this time.
The second person, did that person fire back, or was it just
No. One person, one shooter, 2 rounds discharged, nobody struck.
Did these two people know each other?
Not that we know of.
Was there some sort of argument over something that happened inside the grocery store?
We don't know what the disturbance was based on, but it apparently there was a verbal argument, and it escalated, and one of them backed off, and he felt threatened, so he discharged his firearm.
And one was detained here and one at the substation?
No. One of them fled, and we don't know where he's at. The shooter we have detained. He turned himself in at the substation to tell us what happened.
Any video from inside?
There is video inside the HEB.
And these are both customers, or was one a worker?
No, both were customers, it appears.
But
Yeah.
they did not know each other.
Not that we know of. We're not saying we do or they don't, but not that we know of.
And the bullets didn't hit anyone?
No, nobody was struck.
How many rounds were shot?
2 rounds fired.
What did he hit then?
Well, obviously, like the floor, we think. We're still under processing the scene at this point, but maybe some merchandise, the wall, but nobody was injured that we know of, and there's no danger right now to the community or anything.
And what time did the shooting happen?
Approximately 3:48 p.m. this afternoon.
When did the shooter, turn himself in?
He drove straight up to our Tomball station right up here at 249 in North Point.
What kind of weapon he used?
Just a pistol. I'm not sure of the make and model or caliber or anything.
How far apart would you say the two were when you started firing?
30 feet approximately.
Point of clarification, some people are thinking that there are 2 suspects, one's missing. Is the second person that fled, is that the intended target, or? who's
Well,
the person
that's the second half of the disturbance. We're not going to say he is a suspect or a victim right now. We don't know. I mean, he just fled. We haven't talked to him. That's all going to be investigated.
So you don't know who shot who?
Yes. Nobody shot anybody.
Okay.
2 shots were fired, but nobody was struck.
Okay.
And the shooter we have detained.
Okay, the shooter you have.
Yeah, he's detained. He's the one that turned himself in.
Do you guys have any clue what the argument was about?
None.
What type of
Description of the
guns
guy
were-
who's on the run.
Just 2 adult black males is all we know right now.
Are you
Ages?
looking to speak to the other guy?
The shooter was approximately 43 years of age. I don't know how old the other one that fled the scene was. We haven't talked to him. We would like to talk to him, yes.
What type of firearms were used?
Pistol, that's all we know.
And would you mind just touching on the massive response? There's probably 40 police cars.
Oh, there was probably more than 40 law enforcement officers here. This is right here. This is one of the Harris County Sheriff's Office contracts. We were on scene quickly, and Precinct 4 came and they backed us up as well. A big response, very large response. It's good to see.
I mean, it seems like you guys treated it like an active shooter.
Of
You
course.
Were here and, yeah.
Right, yeah, we did.
You guys evacuate people from HEB, or
We did.
Kind of what happened inside?
Yeah, well, after that, a lot of people self-evacuated, but we also evacuated as many as we could until we figured out that the scene was not hot any longer.
Can we talk about how crazy it is to have a shooting in the middle of the day inside HEB on such I guess it's a busy store?
It is a busy store. There's a lot of people here, but fortunately nobody was injured.
Tell us.
Is the shooter facing any charges?
Not at this point. It's going to be referred to the DA's office, and they'll determine at that point.
What's the protocol? Obviously, everybody says, well, you brought a lot of cops, but this is basically normal nowadays with mass shootings and all. So you respond to these kind of situations immediately with this kind of entourage?
Well, we respond with the worst expected, so we're prepared. But obviously, we scale down as needed. It was not an active shooter, so we scaled it down and treated it like a disturbance that escalated into a shooting with nobody injured.
How were the people who were inside the store? Were they scared? What was some of the witnesses? What did they tell
Yeah, they seem pretty steady right now, but I'm sure they were scared. It would scare anybody to be amongst something like that, a disturbance that escalates.
Can you tell us where the shooting happened inside the store?
It was just in the middle of one of the aisles.
And you are looking to speak to the other person?
Yes, we would like to speak to him.
And the shooter is being cooperative. I guess they turned himself into being cooperative.
Very cooperative, telling us what his version of what happened, but that's why we'd like to speak to the other half so we can get both sides of the story.
Have you seen the surveillance footage yet?
I have.
And can you talk to us about what you see from it?
I just saw two males that looked like they were in an argument, and one of them backed off and discharged his firearm. That's all we could tell. You can't tell what was said or anything.
Did they look like in the video that they knew each other, or they kind of anything like that might have triggered it?
Is all I could really tell is they were having a conversation. I couldn't really tell what it was about. There was no pushing or shoving, but it was close conversation.
Nowhere in that video did you see both men go in the store?
No, we have not. We're still reviewing that at this point.
Have y'all spoken to any witnesses that were possibly in the same aisle? Or
Yes,
Oh,
but we've spoken to some witnesses, and it all matches up exactly. They didn't really have anything to offer. They just said that they heard the gunshots and fled. They ran like everybody else did.
What can you tell someone out there that might have an arm, come to a supermarket and get into an argument? The worst thing that they can do.
To, what can I tell who?
What can you tell someone that's probably listening right now that has a firearm, might come to a supermarket, what not to do in this kind
Well,
of
obviously, you want to use the best gun safety you can. Don't point your gun at anything unless you want to destroy it. But if somebody feels in fear of their life, that's the problem. If he was in fear of his life, I mean, obviously we don't want shootings to take place in public venues like this. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of opportunity for people to be injured, just by innocent bystanders.
Did he say that he felt threatened?
He did.
Are people allowed to bring guns in HEB?
Yes.
How long until it's reopened?
It'll be reopened shortly.
I know you said a DA is taking a look at it still, but what possible charges could the shooter be facing?
Well, it could be ag assault. I mean, it just depends on what else they said. But apparently, it appears to be aggravated assault, if any. But if it was self-defense, it wouldn't be. So.
So he said he didn't feel threatened. He said he felt threatened, but you can't tell us what the argument was about and what he felt threatened.
We haven't discussed that much. He just said he felt threatened. The other male did say that he had a weapon, and that's where it all kind of escalated.
The other male told him.
Yes, the second half said he did, but it was never seen on video or pulled out or anything.
All right. Everybody good? Thank you, Major. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.